welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my June TBR. I read 2 of the books on my May TBR, so I didn't do a great job, but that's okay. June is a new month and hopefully we can get through every single book on my June TBR. So let's just hop right in. We're gonna use my trusty TBR jar to pick out 6 books for my June TBR. Okay, prompt number 1. Ooh, okay, a green book cover. Green is actually one of my favorite colors, so this is a little bit exciting, although I already know I don't have a lot of books on my physical TBR that are green and are not nonfiction books, so this might be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so like what happens if I cheat on the first prompt? I'm not gonna do that. But so many of these books just have like a tiny little dash of green. They're not super green. Ignore persuasion behind me, okay? I'm not in the mood to read persuasion, okay? Yeah, we're gonna ignore that. But for now, I pulled 4 books. One of these is very green, and that is Twisted Lies, but this is book 4. And I haven't started this series at all. I don't think I'm gonna be able to read all 4 books in June. So you know what? I'm just gonna put it back. But the rest of these books don't have much green at all. So I have Credence, which this book intimidates me, so I really don't know what I'm gonna do with this. If I'm gonna read it or if I'm just gonna give it away, I don't know. But there's a bunch of trees on this cover and those are green. So counts for something, I hope. And then I have The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty, which has a very tiny little bit of green. It's literally just the stem to the flower in this little side part of the book. And then in a similar boat is Codename Verity. Again, not a ton of green, but it's got like the grass down here. I don't know because I've been really in the mood for Codename Verity because it is historical fiction and it takes place during World War II. And I think maybe there's a pilot that crashes, and I assume wherever he crashes into, they kind of like rescue him. I don't know, but that's all I know about this book. And World War II historical fiction really intrigues me, so I really want to read this one. But then on another note, I do also really want to read The Husband's Secret. I've read a couple Leanne Moriarty books before. I haven't loved all of them, but I have liked them. I think I've rated them all at least 3 stars, so that's good. But in this one, our main character's husband writes a letter that our main character, her name is Cecilia, is supposed to read after he passes away, and she stumbles upon this letter before he's passed away, and so of course she's gonna read it, right? Like I would read it. So this quite literally follows her husband's secret. The sticker's bothering me too, okay? I need to take it off, but I thrifted this book and it just like had it on it, so I just left it on it. But if I read it in June, I'm gonna take the sticker off. You know what? I think I do actually really want to read this one. It's hard because I really want to read both of these books and they both don't have a ton of green on them, but I am gonna go with this one because I feel like the main color of this one is blue, even though the main color of this is kind of like pink and white. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, and I don't have a ton of green books to choose from, okay? So this is the first book going on the June TBR. Okay, time for book number 2. A pretty book cover. Ooh, okay, this is exciting. This feels like a free pick to me as long as I think the book cover is pretty. Oh, I did forget to say this shelf is my priority TBR, and then I do have this shelf and this shelf as well on my physical TBR. I have a really long physical TBR, and I am trying to work through all of the books on my physical TBR, so hopefully my monthly TBRs are gonna help me do that. Anyways, I'm looking for a book with a pretty cover. Okay, I do really like this cover. This is Swept Away. There's something about the blue and the pink and the sunset and the boat, all of that just mixed together. I really love this cover, and it's honestly the whole reason that this book jumped out to me at the bookstore. So this is a top contender. Let's see what else I have. I mean, I also have some of these type of books that are just like really pretty books, but I still want to read them. And in this one is Jane Eyre, and I love this book. I thrifted it, and it literally looks like they just painted the edges of this book. This book is so old, it smells old, and I just love how this looks. So this is a contender as well. There's actually 4 books inside of this one book, but I think I would just read Jane Eyre in this one. I mean, I want to read the rest of them as well, but Jane Eyre is the one that is speaking to me right now. So that's a contender as well, but I just get worried about putting classics on my monthly TBR because I really have to be in the mood to read a classic. We'll think about it. I'm also obsessed with this cover of Love and Friendship. I have the cloth bound version of this, and just like the white and pink shoes mixed together just really scratches an itch in my brain. I just love it so much. But again, I just get really weary about putting classics on my monthly TBR. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna do it. We're gonna put Swept Away on my TBR. I love all of the covers I showed you guys so much, but this one is the one that I think I am most likely to read in June, especially because it's a summery themed book. So I bought this book last year towards the end of summer. I didn't get around to it, and so now I really want to make sure I read it this summer. What I remember about this book is that our main characters are on their first date and they end up having a one-night stand, but the kicker is one of them owns a boat and their one-night stand occurs on this boat. And so when they wake up in the morning, they're both kind of like, I thought you tied down to the dock. No, didn't you tie down to the dock? And so they wake up and they're lost at sea. So it's essentially a one-night stand turned awry, which I am very excited about. This seems like the perfect book to read by the pool. So I'm adding this to the June TBR. Okay, book number 3. A book recommended by a friend. Okay, this might be hard to do. Oh, I already know. My friend actually just recently gave me this book. It was part of this birthday book exchange that I did where everyone came over and we did a basket exchange and you put a bunch of different things inside the basket that corresponded with the book. And my friend did this book with a bunch of like different scented kind of things inside the basket because our main character in this book is a perfumist. I don't know if that's the right word, but she like makes perfumes. But this is Paladin's Grace. I've been wanting to read it for a while. It is a fantasy book and I don't read a ton of fantasy, but I am excited to read this one. I've heard really great things about it. She really liked this book and I don't know a ton about it. So it sounds like there's only some romance in here. We have Stephen, who is a broken paladin. It says living only for the chance to be useful before he dies, but all that changes when he encounters a fugitive named Grace in an alley and witnesses an attempt gone wrong. Now the pair must navigate a web of treachery, beset on all sides by spies and prisoners while a cryptic killer stalks one step behind. This sounds so interesting to me and I am so excited to read this. So this is going on the June TBR. That was so easy. I'm excited for this. Okay, book number 4. Title has a character's name. Okay, let's see what I have. Oh, Archer's Voice. That's a character, right? Archer's a character, right? Right? Yes, this is a possibility. I know some of you guys are like, girl, how have you not read this book yet? Yeah, I don't know either. Honestly, I've got to read it. But you know what I also really want to read? Anne of Windy Poplars. This is the 4th book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I've been reading this series for a while, and I want to make sure I read them at least close enough together so that I don't forget what happened in the prior book. I think I'm gonna have to put this one on my June TBR. Although I really, really want to read Archer's Voice, I don't want to forget what goes on in Anne of Green Gables. In the first book, our main character Anne starts out as an orphan, and she's actually getting adopted by this family. She's getting adopted by her brother and sister who both own this farm together and they need help on their farm. And so when Anne shows up, they're kind of like, who is this? We asked for a boy. We were told we're gonna get a boy because we want help with our farm. And Anne is this really loud, big, boisterous character. She has a lot of personality and she's just kind of like, no, 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 give me a chance here. And so they do, and it's very relationship focused. It is a classic, but I believe it's written for children. So I've said this before and I'll probably say it again. Highly recommend these books for people getting into classics. I'm in the same boat. I have not read a ton of classics and I find them very hard to read. But these I don't find hard to read at all. I really, really enjoy these. So I am gonna put this one on my June TBR and I will read Archer's Voice soon. I promise. Okay, book number 5. Translated from another language. Off the top of my head, I'm really not sure what I have for this one, but I'm sure I have something. Was the Odyssey translated? I feel like it was. Did I make that up? Wait, but I think I want to read the Iliad first, so let me look that up. Yes, the Iliad and the Odyssey were composed in Homeric Greek. Okay, so maybe I'll read that one, but like I said, I'm really worried about the whole classics thing. This is my copy of the Iliad. This is another book that I thrifted. It's leather bound, so definitely could have worked for the pretty book prompt as well. But let's see what else I have, because I am a little bit worried about reading this in June. I actually keep picking up the most random books to see if they've been translated. Okay, so I actually think that's my only option. I just looked through all of my books and I didn't search every single book, but I'm pretty sure this is the only book I have that's been translated. I definitely could have missed some. I didn't look at every single book, especially because I was kind of like, oh, if it's a classic, like I might as well just read the Iliad because I've been wanting to read this for so long. So we are gonna put this on my June TBR. I don't know what the likelihood that I will read the entire thing in June is, but hopefully I'll at least start it in June. So adding this one to the TBR. And now for our last prompt. A book from a new to you author. This prompt is really exciting to me because I do have a lot of new to me authors on my physical TBR. You know, a book I've really been wanting to read recently. This is The Last Mona Lisa. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this author's last name, but I definitely have not read any other books by him. And I was shocked to see that this is based on a true story. And from what I remember about this book is that it is based on the story of the Mona Lisa being stolen. And there's multiple timelines in here. I believe there's a past and present timeline in here. Since I had no idea the Mona Lisa was ever stolen, I was so intrigued by this book when I picked it up, and I still am really intrigued, but it sat on my shelves for so long. So maybe June is finally the month that I will get around to this book. And like I said before, I love a historical fiction, so I'm glad to have at least one on my June TBR. And now let's do a quick recap of all the books on my June TBR, starting with The Husband's Secret, Swept Away, Paladin's Grace, Anne of Windy Poplars, The Iliad, and The Last Mona Lisa. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. If you want to see any of these books in reading vlogs, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!